Hey, right on, my friend. Sorry about that delay, but something happened with my laptop here, so I'm going to go with the phone, right? So, yeah, life is all about that adaptability and that flexibility and rolling with the punches, I guess, whatever they say with that one, right? But anyway, so right on. Tonight, I wanted to talk a little bit about this idea that, we are perfect the way we are, and so is our desire to change. And I know that sounds a little counterintuitive right out of the gate, but hopefully by the time I get done, it'll make a little sense. So yeah, really, this idea of perfection and then desire to change, like I said a minute ago, it's a little bit counterintuitive. But when I talk about the perfectness of us, what I'm talking about is that part of us that I believe is eternal. And what I'm really referring to here is this idea, like it's really easy to come in contact with. Like if you just close your eyes for just a second and think about you throughout the years of your life. Think about the you when you were 5, the you when you were 10, the you when you were 20, the you when you were 30, whatever the age is. Think of that you. It probably hasn't changed much. Now, our vessel has changed, right? I got gray coming in where it's like, wow, man, that's crazy. And so the vessel continuously changes. And then I think far too often, what we tend to do is we tend to identify our sense of self with that outside self. And so not that nest that stays the same. And you hear this all the time when you talk to our elders and we talk to those our fellow humans that have got a few years on their belt, man. They've got 80, 85 years on their belt and their vessels are breaking down. But you talk to them and they're like, Chris, I feel like I did when I was 10. I feel like I did when I was 15. But I just can't do the things that I want to do. And that's what I'm talking about. And so I want to talk a little bit about that perfection. And I want to tell you a little bit with the story. And this is an experience that happened to me years ago. And so there used to be a local gym here that I used to go to at lunch. Now I'd go there in the morning and I would train. Then I would be able to go back at lunchtime because they had a wet sauna and they had a dry sauna. And so it was really cool because I could go into the wet sauna and I could meditate at lunchtime because nobody ever went in there. I mean, nobody. And so I could go in there and it'd be all steamy and I could get into a nice meditation, nice 10, 15 minute meditation and, never be bothered and just kind of go on with my day after about a 15-minute, mindfulness breath meditation. So one day I'm in there and I was really having a nice experience. So I was like kind of in a deep trance within maybe, 10 minutes or so, right? So I'm just kind of sitting in there and while I'm in that experience, I think I hear this like a cough. And so I don't know if any of you meditate, but those who do, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can get to a place where, you lose track of what is happening outside of you or inside of you. So I heard that and I thought, maybe I just coughed. All right, so stay with it. So I just stayed with it. And then I heard it again. I heard, and I was like, oh no, not me at all. And that person's close. That person's really close. And so I was like, oh man, please be steamy. Please be steamy. So I kind of opened my eyes up and I kind of looked over and I'm like, how you doing? And there's this woman literally sitting like 3 feet from me. I mean, like 3 feet from me. And as soon as I was like, hey, how you doing? I was like, oh my goodness. So I quickly covered up and she goes, oh, no, it's fine. And I'm thinking, and I said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm thinking, I'm not that naked sauna gym guy. That's not who I am. And she's like, no. And she looks at me and she goes, oh, I could never do that. And I said, what do you mean, meditate? It's not that big of a deal, really. I mean, it gets I think it's overblown. It's just simply becoming aware of your breath. She goes, no. I could never do that. I could never just sit in here with maybe not my towel on or something like that. And I said, well, how come? And she said, well, look at me. I said, I think you're beautiful. And she said, what? And I said, what do you think? She says, well, I think I'm hideous. I need to lose 60 pounds. I could never do that. And she was wrapped up in like 3 towels. I mean, she was cocooned right up, man. And she had like these 3 towels on. And I said, no, I don't think that's true. Now, again, I'm just still coming out of this, and I've been shocked a little bit about, her sitting there. So I just decided to just kind of go with it at this point. So I said to her, can I ask you a question? And she said, yeah. I said, can you be anything other than what you are right now? And she said, what do you mean? I said, don't overthink it. I said, can you be anything other than what you are right now? And she said, no. And I said, then I think you're perfect. And that's beautiful. And she's like, well, now I just think you're being an ass. And I was like, fair enough. I thought to myself, well, it's on now, right? So I'm gonna continue on with this. So I said, can I just ask you another question? She said, sure. I said, my sense is that for most of your life, I'm just wondering for how long in your life have you had these internal conversations with yourself when you were telling yourself, you know what? When I lose this 60 pounds, then I'll be happy. Or when I lose this weight, then I'll find that man. Or when I do this, and she just kind of stopped me. She goes, okay, enough. And she said, I've thought that way my entire life. And I said, I figured. And I said, when we do that, when we have that internal conflict, we set ourselves up to lose. Because if I win, I lose. It's me versus me. So if I win, I have to lose. And I said, and if you can't be anything other than what you are right now, then that's perfect. And she said, I think I need to leave. I was like, fair enough, right on. So she got up and she left. And I thought, wow, that was an interesting lunchtime meditation. I didn't think anything more of it. That kind of crap happens to me quite frequently in my life, right on. So I just went on with my life. So fast forward about a year, a little over a year. And I'm walking through one of our local stores. And I'm just walking by the cash registers right there. I'm looking to, peel in and pay for my groceries, whatever the heck I was doing right there. And I see this woman coming towards me. She's walking kind of fast towards me, right on. And she's like, it's you. And I'm like, yeah, it's me. It's 100% me. Yeah, exactly. And she gets pretty close to me, right on. And I don't recognize her. And she says, you don't recognize me, do you? I said, no. I do not. I'm so sorry. I don't. I meet a lot of people. And she said, I'm from the sauna. And I was like, sauna? And then I stopped and I was like, oh, yes. And I was like, wow, what a transformation. Look at you. And she said, I have been looking for you for months. I've been wanting to find you. Hopefully I could talk to you. I wanted to tell you some things. And I was like, well, here I am, right on. Right? So she goes, about 3 or 4 months after that experience in the sauna with you, I was coming home from work and I was literally sitting at a red light and it was like, pow, hit me between the eyes. And she said, I think I understood what you were trying to say. I said, well, what is that? And she said, until I unconditionally love me right now, I will always need to be at another place before I can be happy with me. And I was like, yeah, right on, yeah. And she said, it was in that moment I made the decision that regardless of my temporary situation, I'm going to show unconditional love to myself. But that also meant that I could change who I was. And I said, yes. So she goes, I made a decision. I made a decision that I was going to change my lifestyle, that I was going to change the things that I was eating, that I was going to add a fitness into my lifestyle. And I have to tell you, I'm so very, very happy with my body now, but my inside hasn't changed since that moment at the light. And I'm glad that I have a chance to tell you thank you. I was like, right on, that just makes my heart smile. I'm so happy, so happy for you. And so we said our goodbyes, and I went on and I paid for my groceries and got to admit that was kind of a cool day. And so that's really what I'm talking about when I say this idea that you're perfect just as you are, and so is your desire to change. we need to remind ourselves of that. I think so often we can fall into this trap, especially in this world that we live in, that we're getting bombarded with self-improvement, and you can't go anywhere without getting somebody telling you that they can make you a better you, and that is all good. That's all really good. But we've got to remind ourselves that at our core, we're perfect and we're beautiful. And if we believe that, and we absolutely know that, then the internal conflict stops. And that unconditional love can take over. And when you're coming from a place of unconditional love of self, then you want to change. You don't have to change. Because when we have to do something, we resist it. But when we want to do it, it's ours, and we'll embrace it. So I hope that makes some sense. I'm not trying to discount personal growth. Obviously, I'm a therapist, and that's what I do. I try to help people change, but I also want to help them understand, right, that the perfection lies within. And when we understand that internal dialogue, that internal conflict, that internal war can end. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you today. I hope that makes sense. I hope that resonates with some of you. So I hope you continue to have a wonderful day, and know you are loved. Right on, my friends.